Imagine standing on the deck of a ship just off the coast of Florida. The water is calm. The sky is endless blue. There are no storms on the horizon, no warning signs. And yet, somewhere beneath the surface of these waters, one of the greatest legends in American history was born. This is the story of the Bermuda Triangle, stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. This region of the Atlantic Ocean has been blamed for vanished planes, missing ships, distorted compasses, and unexplained phenomena for over a century. But what is truth? What is exaggeration? And what is pure myth? Tonight, we begin a deep journey through history, science, fear, and the psychology of mystery itself. The Bermuda Triangle is not officially recognized by the U.S. government. There are no international maritime boundaries marking it, yet its reputation is powerful. The triangle is commonly defined by 3 points: Miami, Florida, Bermuda, Puerto Rico. This area spans approximately 500,000 square miles of ocean. It includes major shipping routes, commercial flight paths, and powerful ocean currents such as the Gulf Stream. The Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point in the Atlantic, lies within this region, plunging more than 27,000 feet. This is not empty ocean. It is one of the busiest corridors on Earth. And yet, over time, it became known as a place where vessels vanish without warning. Long before the term Bermuda Triangle existed, sailors feared these waters. In 1492, Christopher Columbus recorded strange compass variations while sailing through this region. Centuries later, ships would disappear during hurricane season. Before satellites and modern forecasting, storms could rise suddenly and violently. Wooden vessels splintered, navigation instruments failed, and many crews were never seen again. At the time, these were considered tragic losses of the sea. But in the 20th century, something changed. The disappearances began to be grouped together, and a legend was born. In 1918, during World War I, the USS Cyclops departed Barbados carrying 309 men and a full cargo of manganese ore. The ship never reached Baltimore. No distress signal, no wreckage, no survivors. It remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history. Investigations suggested structural failure. Others suspected enemy submarines, but no definitive answer was ever confirmed. The mystery endured, and it would later become one of the cornerstones of the Bermuda Triangle legend. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy training planes took off from Fort Lauderdale. The mission was routine. The weather was clear, then the radio transmissions began. "We can't find west. Everything looks wrong." The flight leader reported that his compasses were malfunctioning. The squadron became disoriented over open water. Fuel ran low. Darkness approached. All 5 aircraft vanished. A rescue plane sent to search for them also disappeared. 14 airmen, no trace. Flight 19 became the most famous Bermuda Triangle case in American history. In the 1960s and 1970s, writers began compiling mysterious cases. Books and television specials sensationalized the region. The Cold War era fueled public fascination with UFOs, government secrecy, and unexplained phenomena. The Bermuda Triangle became a cultural phenomenon. Stories of electronic fog, time warps, alien abductions, lost civilizations beneath the sea. The legend grew larger than the facts. Modern science offers grounded explanations. Methane gas eruptions from the ocean floor can reduce water density and affect buoyancy. The Gulf Stream can rapidly disperse wreckage, making recovery nearly impossible. Compass variation in the region is real, but measurable and understood. Human error remains a leading cause of maritime and aviation accidents, and hurricanes, powerful, fast-forming, and destructive, have claimed countless vessels long before the legend existed. Despite scientific explanations, the Bermuda Triangle continues to capture the American imagination. Why? Because humans are drawn to unsolved mysteries. Because the ocean remains largely unexplored. Because stories are powerful. The idea that something unknown still exists in a mapped and modern world is both terrifying and thrilling. And sometimes the mystery is more compelling than the truth. As we move forward, we will investigate deeper cases, government documents, modern underwater discoveries, and the psychological forces that transformed scattered accidents into a global phenomenon. The Bermuda Triangle may not be supernatural, but its story is undeniably powerful. December 5, 1945, World War II had ended just months earlier. America was victorious, confident, and rapidly modernizing. At 2:10 p.m., 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers lifted off from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The training mission was routine, navigation practice over the Atlantic. 14 men in total, young, experienced, trained. Nothing about this afternoon suggested it would become one of the greatest aviation mysteries in American history. The exercise was called Navigation Problem Number 1. The flight plan was simple: fly east from Florida, drop practice bombs over a shallow reef, turn north, then head southwest back to base. The weather was clear, the sea calm, visibility strong. The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, was an experienced pilot. But shortly after completing the bombing run, something changed. At approximately 3:40 p.m., the first unusual radio transmission was received. "This is FT-28. Both my compasses are out. I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale." Confusion filled the airwaves. The other pilots reported their compasses were functioning, but they trusted their leader, and so they followed him. Minutes turned into hours. Fuel levels began to drop. The sun began to set. Radio operators attempted to guide Flight 19 back toward Florida, but Lieutenant Taylor believed he was somewhere over the Florida Keys south of the mainland, when, in reality, investigators later concluded he may have been far east over the Atlantic. This single navigational misjudgment may have sealed their fate. As darkness fell, the ocean below turned black. Waves rose. Weather conditions deteriorated. At 6:20 p.m., one of the last transmissions was recorded. "It looks like we are entering white water. We're completely lost." Shortly after, all planes close up tight. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together. Silence followed. 14 men disappeared into the Atlantic. A Martin PBM Mariner rescue plane was launched to search for Flight 19. It carried 13 crew members. 20 minutes after takeoff, the rescue aircraft itself disappeared. A nearby ship reported seeing an explosion in the sky. The Mariner was known as a flying gas tank, highly flammable if vapor ignited. No wreckage was recovered. Now 27 men were gone. The U.S. Navy launched a massive search covering over 250,000 square miles. Nothing was found. The initial investigation blamed navigational error. Later reports softened the language, stating the cause was unknown. No evidence of enemy action, no signs of sabotage, no confirmed mechanical malfunction across all 5 aircraft, just disappearance. In the decades that followed, Flight 19 became the cornerstone of Bermuda Triangle mythology. Some claimed electromagnetic anomalies disrupted instruments. Others suggested time warps or extraterrestrial intervention. More grounded explanations point to human error. Poor weather conditions, fuel exhaustion, strong Atlantic currents dispersing debris, yet the lack of physical evidence keeps the mystery alive. Flight 19 occurred at a unique moment in American history. The nation had just emerged from global war. Confidence in technology was high. Military training was disciplined and structured. The idea that 5 Navy planes could simply vanish during peacetime was deeply unsettling. It challenged assumptions about control, navigation, and safety. And so the legend grew. Flight 19 was not the first disappearance in the region, but it became the most famous because it involved trained military pilots, because it involved multiple aircraft, because it happened in clear daylight, and because it was never fully explained. Before the planes disappeared from the sky, before distress calls faded into static, the Bermuda Triangle built its reputation from the sea. For centuries, ships entered these waters carrying cargo, crews, and confidence. Some arrived safely, others were never seen again. No mayday calls, no floating wreckage, no survivors, just open water. Tonight, we leave the air behind and descend into the Atlantic to investigate the ships that turned this region into what many would call the graveyard of the Atlantic. March 1918. World War I rages across Europe. The United States is transporting vital supplies across the Atlantic. Among its fleet is a massive Navy cargo ship, the USS Cyclops. 309 men are on board. The ship departs Barbados, carrying manganese ore essential for steel production. Its destination, Baltimore, Maryland. The weather reports are normal, there are no distress calls, no radioed warnings, and then nothing. The USS Cyclops never arrives. No wreckage is ever found, no lifeboats, no oil slick, no debris. It becomes the single largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history. President Woodrow Wilson reportedly said, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship. Investigations consider possibilities." Structural failure from overloaded cargo. No distress signal was sent, and without physical evidence, the mystery solidifies. The ocean keeps its secret. January 1921, a 5-masted schooner named the Carroll Deering is spotted off the coast of North Carolina near Cape Hatteras. Something is wrong. The ship is aground, but intact. When rescuers board the vessel, they find no crew, no captain, no logbook, no lifeboats. The galley shows signs that a meal was recently prepared. Personal belongings remain, cargo untouched. It looks as though the crew simply vanished. Investigators explore theories: piracy, mutiny, rum-running conflicts during Prohibition, but no bodies are found, no confirmed witnesses, and no final explanation. The image of a fully intact ship, empty and silent, captures the American imagination. It's not just tragedy, it feels like disappearance. February 1963. The tanker Marine Sulphur Queen leaves Beaumont, Texas, carrying molten sulfur toward Norfolk, Virginia. 39 crew members are aboard. The vessel enters waters near the Florida Straits, and then it vanishes. Weeks later, small pieces of debris are recovered. Life jackets, fragments of wreckage, but the ship itself is never found. A Coast Guard investigation later points toward structural weaknesses, hazardous cargo conversion, possible explosion but to the public. This becomes yet another Triangle disappearance. By now, books and media outlets are connecting these cases together. A pattern begins to form. Whether real or constructed, it feels intentional. One of the strangest maritime tales linked to the Triangle involves a schooner called the Ellen Austin. According to legend, sometime in the late 1800s, the Ellen Austin encountered a derelict ship drifting in the Atlantic. The abandoned vessel appeared seaworthy. No crew aboard, no visible damage. The Ellen Austin placed a small crew aboard the abandoned ship to sail it back to port. Days later, a storm separated the two vessels. When they reconnected, the prize ship was there. But the new crew was gone, vanished. Some versions claim this happened twice. Historians debate the accuracy of this account. Shipping records are inconsistent. Details change over time, but the story spreads because it reinforces the narrative. Ships don't just sink here, people disappear. Now let's step back. The region associated with the Bermuda Triangle includes the powerful Gulf Stream, rapid weather changes, high hurricane frequency, one of the deepest trenches in the Atlantic. The Gulf Stream alone moves at speeds up to 4 knots. If a vessel sinks here, floating debris can scatter across hundreds of miles within hours. Storm systems can form rapidly. Before satellite forecasting, ships had little warning. Hurricanes in this region have destroyed thousands of vessels over centuries. And the seafloor, the Puerto Rico Trench, drops over 27,000 feet. If a ship sinks there, recovery becomes nearly impossible. In many cases, what appears mysterious may simply be severe weather, structural failure, human error, navigation mistakes, but mystery thrives in absence, and the ocean specializes in erasing evidence. By the 1960s and 1970s, writers begin grouping maritime losses into a single narrative. Books, radio programs, and television specials ask dramatic questions. Why do ships vanish here? Why is wreckage rarely found? Is there something unique about this region? The answer, statistically speaking, is less dramatic. The area is one of the busiest shipping corridors in the world. High traffic means higher incident numbers, but statistics don't sell books. Mystery does. And soon, these tragedies become chapters in a much larger legend. Let's examine something important. Are disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle significantly higher than in other busy ocean regions? Modern studies suggest they are not. Similar rates of maritime accidents occur in the South China Sea, the Mediterranean, the North Sea. The difference? Branding. The Bermuda Triangle became a cultural icon. Other dangerous waters did not. When you group unrelated events together and assign them a dramatic name, the human brain begins to see patterns even when none were intended. Ship disappearances strike a different psychological chord than plane crashes. A plane falls quickly, a ship sinks slowly, sometimes over hours. There is time to signal, time to escape, time to fight. So when no signal is sent, When no lifeboats are found, it feels unnatural. But consider, radio systems fail, storm noise drowns signals, ships capsize rapidly in rogue waves, explosions destroy communication instantly. What feels impossible often has a physical explanation, but absence of proof keeps imagination alive. The ships linked to the Bermuda Triangle were real, the sailors were real, the losses were tragic, but whether they were supernatural remains unproven. The Atlantic Ocean does not need a curse to be deadly, it needs only depth, and distance, and time. When ships vanish, when planes disappear, and no wreckage is found, the human mind searches for something bigger, something beyond weather, beyond mechanical failure, beyond human error, because sometimes accident doesn't feel satisfying. And so the theories begin. In the case of the Bermuda Triangle, they didn't just begin, they exploded. Tonight, we enter the realm of speculation, the ideas that turned this stretch of Atlantic Ocean into a portal of the unknown. One of the most persistent theories claims the Bermuda Triangle sits above the ruins of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis originates with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, around 360 BCE. Plato described a powerful island civilization that sank beneath the sea in a single day and night of catastrophe. For centuries, Atlantis was considered allegory. But in the 20th century, some writers began suggesting it was real, and that its ruins lie beneath the Atlantic. The theory goes like this. Ancient Atlanteans possessed advanced crystal energy technology. When the city sank, those power sources remained active. They now emit mysterious electromagnetic fields. These fields disrupt compasses, disable navigation equipment, interfere with aircraft instruments, cause ships and planes to lose direction. Some even claim underwater crystal pyramids have been detected off the coast of Florida and the Bahamas. But here's the reality. No verified archaeological evidence confirms Atlantis ever existed. No credible oceanographic surveys have found advanced ancient power crystals. Still, the idea is powerful because it suggests something profound, that beneath modern America's coastline lies a lost superterrestrial civilization, and its technology is still active. In the 1960s and 1970s, America experienced a surge in UFO reports. The Cold War had fueled fascination with the skies. The space race had begun. Humans had landed on the moon. The unknown felt closer than ever. It was during this era that the Bermuda Triangle became linked to extraterrestrials. Some theorists argue UFOs use the triangle as an underwater base. Advanced alien craft emerge from beneath the ocean. Aircraft are abducted mid-flight. Ships are taken for study flight. 19 became a centerpiece of these claims. How could 5 military planes vanish in clear weather? For some, the answer wasn't mechanical failure, it was intervention. Reports of strange lights over the Atlantic, unidentified radar blips, military secrecy, all fed speculation. But official investigations have never produced evidence of extraterrestrial involvement. No confirmed alien craft, no recovered non-human technology. Still, in American pop culture, the connection remains, because if aliens were going to choose a mysterious location, the Bermuda Triangle would be the perfect staging ground. Perhaps the most fascinating theory is not about aliens, but about time itself. Some pilots have reported strange experiences flying near the Bahamas and Florida. Stories include sudden electronic fog, time distortions, flights arriving earlier than expected, instruments spinning wildly. One frequently cited story involves pilot Bruce Gernon, who claimed in 1970 that he flew through a strange cloud tunnel and arrived in Miami 30 minutes ahead of schedule. The theory proposes that the Bermuda Triangle contains dimensional rifts, space-time anomalies, natural wormholes, according to physics. Wormholes are theoretically possible under extreme gravitational conditions. Modern aircraft fly through the region daily without vanishing into other centuries, but the idea persists. Because time travel captivates us and mystery invites imagination, and disables navigation systems. In certain retellings, this fog glows, feels electrically charged, disorients pilots. There are also claims of energy vortices, spinning electromagnetic fields that interfere with compasses. It's true that compass variation occurs naturally. There is no confirmed electromagnetic anomaly unique to the Bermuda Triangle. Yet the language of vortices and energy fields adds a scientific flavor to supernatural claims. It sounds plausible, even when evidence is absent. In the 1970s, reports surfaced claiming divers discovered pyramid-like structures beneath the waters near the Bahamas. Some claimed these structures were made of smooth stone. No peer-reviewed archaeological studies confirmed these findings. Many experts believed the formations were natural rock structures or misidentified coral formations, and the myth reinforces itself. Some even linked the Bermuda Triangle to the infamous Philadelphia experiment. According to conspiracy lore, a naval ship was rendered invisible, and possibly no credible documentation supports it. But the idea that advanced military technology could bend space or cloak vessels fits neatly into the triangle narrative. Radar research. When information is restricted, to understand why supernatural explanations thrived, we must consider timing. Recovering from Vietnam, reeling from Watergate, questioning government transparency, fascinated with UFO culture, the public was primed to believe that authorities might hide the truth. Strange phenomena were possible. The world still held unknown forces. The Bermuda Triangle became a canvas for those fears and fascinations. It wasn't just about ships, it was about trust, about mystery, about control. Here's something important. Most supernatural Bermuda Triangle stories share a pattern. 1. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has been framed as a place of supernatural forces. Atlantis, aliens, time warps. But what if the truth is both simpler and more powerful? What if the real explanation isn't paranormal, but environmental? Tonight, we step away from speculation and into science, because the Atlantic Ocean does not need magic to be deadly. It needs only physics, weather, and human error. The region commonly called the Bermuda Triangle connects Miami, Florida. It includes one of the busiest commercial shipping routes in the world, major U.S. naval transit lanes. Heavy air traffic between North America and the Caribbean. High traffic alone increases the statistical likelihood of accidents. More ships, more planes, more exposure. But geography adds another layer of danger. One of the most important scientific factors in the region is the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a powerful, warm ocean current that flows from the Gulf of Mexico through the Florida Straits and up the U.S. East Coast. It can move at speeds of up to 4 knots. That may not sound fast, but in open ocean conditions, it is significant. Here's why it matters. If a ship sinks, debris does not stay in one place. The Gulf Stream can scatter wreckage across hundreds of miles in hours. This makes recovery extremely difficult. In aviation accidents over land, wreckage forms a debris field. In the triangle, evidence can vanish quickly, not because of portals, but because of current velocity. The Bermuda Triangle lies in a hurricane-prone region. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June through November. Storms can form rapidly. Even today, with satellite forecasting, hurricanes can intensify unexpectedly. Before modern weather radar, ships relied on barometers and visual cues, and tropical systems can build strength in hours. Beyond hurricanes, the region experiences sudden squall lines, waterspouts, microbursts, fast-moving storm cells or craft, flying at low altitude. During training missions like Flight 19, could encounter deteriorating visibility quickly. Ships without modern stabilization systems could capsize. Weather alone accounts for thousands of maritime losses throughout history. The Atlantic is not gentle. In recent decades, scientists have confirmed the existence of rogue waves. These are massive, unexpected ocean waves that can rise more than 60 feet high. They form when wave systems converge and amplify each other. The Bermuda Triangle sits in a region where storm systems intersect, currents shift, wind patterns overlap under these conditions, rogue waves become more likely. A rogue wave can strike without warning, break a ship's hull, disable communications, instantly capsize large vessels. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has been framed as a place of supernatural forces. Atlantis, aliens, time warps. But what if the truth is both simpler and more powerful? What if the real explanation isn't paranormal, but environmental? Tonight, we step away from speculation and into science, because the Atlantic Ocean does not need magic to be deadly. It needs only physics, weather, and human error. The region commonly called the Bermuda Triangle connects Miami, Florida. It includes one of the busiest commercial shipping routes in the world, major U.S. naval transit lanes. Heavy air traffic between North America and the Caribbean. High traffic alone increases the statistical likelihood of accidents. More ships, more planes, more exposure. But geography adds another layer of danger. One of the most important scientific factors in the region is the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a powerful, warm ocean current that flows from the Gulf of Mexico through the Florida Straits and up the U.S. East Coast. It can move at speeds of up to 4 knots. That may not sound fast, but in open ocean conditions, it is significant. Here's why it matters. If a ship sinks, debris does not stay in one place. The Gulf Stream can scatter wreckage across hundreds of miles in hours. This makes recovery extremely difficult. In aviation accidents over land, wreckage forms a debris field. In the triangle, evidence can vanish quickly, not because of portals, but because of current velocity. The Bermuda Triangle lies in a hurricane-prone region. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June through November. Storms can form rapidly. Even today, with satellite forecasting, hurricanes can intensify unexpectedly. Before modern weather radar, ships relied on barometers and visual cues, and tropical systems can build strength in hours. Beyond hurricanes, the region experiences sudden squall lines, waterspouts, microbursts, fast-moving storm cells or craft, flying at low altitude. During training missions like Flight 19 could encounter deteriorating visibility quickly. Ships without modern stabilization systems could capsize. Weather alone accounts for thousands of maritime losses throughout history. The Atlantic is not gentle. In recent decades, scientists have confirmed the existence of rogue waves. These are massive, unexpected ocean waves that can rise more than 60 feet high. They form when wave systems converge and amplify each other. The Bermuda Triangle sits in a region where storm systems intersect, currents shift, wind patterns overlap under these conditions, rogue waves become more likely. A rogue wave can strike without warning, break a ship's hull, disable communications, instantly capsize large vessels. Suspicion fills the silence. And in America, suspicion often points in one direction. The government, the Bermuda Triangle legend, did not grow in isolation. It grew during the Cold War, during classified military projects, during an era when the public learned, sometimes painfully, that not everything was transparent. After World War II, the United States entered a new era, the Cold War. Advanced weapons research accelerated, submarine warfare expanded. Underwater detection systems were deployed across the Atlantic. The Bermuda Triangle region between anti-submarine sonar systems were tested here. When military operations are classified, details remain hidden, and when accidents occur during classified missions, information may be limited. To some, that silence suggests something larger. One of the most persistent conspiracy theories linked to the Triangle involves the so-called Philadelphia experiment. The claim, in 1943, a U.S. Navy destroyer escort was rendered invisible through electromagnetic experimentation. Some versions claim it teleported, others claim crew members fused with the hull. Historians have found no credible evidence this experiment occurred. The U.S. Navy denies it, documents do not support it. Yet the story persists, because invisibility, teleportation, electromagnetic distortion, these concepts fit neatly into Bermuda Triangle mythology, even without proof. The Atlantic off Florida and the Bahamas has long been used for marine detection, testing, sonar research, torpedo trials, naval aviation, exercises. Classified testing have interfered with civilian vessels. There is no verified evidence that secret weapons cause disappearances, but secrecy creates imagination. If something is classified, people assume it must be extraordinary, and extraordinary quickly becomes supernatural. Flight 19 occurred in December 1945. Some conspiracy theories suggest the pilots encountered experimental technology. They flew into a classified zone. Their disappearance was covered up official Navy. Investigations concluded navigational confusion and fuel exhaustion were likely causes. But when records were revised from pilot error to cause unknown, it added fuel to speculation. The change was procedural, but perception matters. Conspiracies thrive when 1. Tragedy lacks closure. 2. Authorities control information. 3. Public trust is low. During the 1970s. After Watergate and Vietnam, trust in institutions declined. The Bermuda Triangle legend surged at the same time. The timing was not coincidence. When people feel uncertain about leadership, they look for hidden explanations. There is no confirmed evidence of government weapons bending space-time over the Atlantic, no verified documentation of classified portals. But the Cold War context added a layer of intrigue. and intrigue fuels myth. In the 21st century, the world is mapped by satellites. Planes are tracked in real time. Ships broadcast their position constantly. Deep-sea drones descend miles below the surface. If the Bermuda Triangle truly defied physics, we would know. So what has modern exploration revealed? Commercial aircraft crossing the triangle are monitored by radar GPS satellite tracking systems. Cruise ships broadcast automatic identification system signals. Military vessels track positions constantly. Disappearances are not statistically higher than in other busy ocean regions. Technology has reduced mystery, but not erased fascination. Organizations like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) have mapped large portions of the Atlantic seabed. Underwater mountain ranges, deep trenches, shipwrecks from centuries past. Many previously lost ships have been found outside triangle boundaries. Others likely rest in deep, inaccessible regions. The ocean is vast, not mystical, just enormous. Modern submersibles can dive thousands of feet. Remotely operated vehicles explore wreck sites with cameras and sonar. But even today, much of the ocean remains unexplored. Over 80% of the world's oceans are still unmapped in high resolution. Mystery remains, not because of portals, but because of scale. Reports of Bermuda Triangle vanishings peaked in the 1960s and 1970s. Since GPS and improved forecasting, navigation errors decreased, weather prediction improved, emergency response accelerated. The triangle didn't become safer, technology did. Modern science has not uncovered alien bases or Atlantean crystals or dimensional rifts, but it has revealed something else. The ocean is powerful, complex, and still largely unknown. Why do intelligent people believe in the Bermuda Triangle? Why does the legend persist despite scientific explanations? Because mystery is emotional, and humans are storytelling creatures. The human brain is wired to detect patterns, even when none exist. When separate accidents are grouped under one name, they appear connected. The label Bermuda Triangle creates narrative cohesion. Without the label, they are isolated incidents. The ocean represents the unknown, darkness, depth, distance from control. Unlike land where evidence remains, the sea swallows proof, and what cannot be seen becomes imagined. Books, documentaries, talk shows, each retelling adds dramatic emphasis. Details sharpen, mystery deepens. A storm becomes clear skies. An accident becomes disappearance. Repetition transforms uncertainty into legend. The Bermuda Triangle rose during the space race, UFO fascination, distrust in government, expansion of mass media. It fit the cultural moment, and culture keeps it alive. The Bermuda Triangle endures not because of data, but because of wonder. Mystery makes the world feel larger, and sometimes larger feels more exciting. The Bermuda Triangle is not the only region accused of strange disappearances. Across the globe, similar zones exist. Off the coast of Japan lies the so-called Devil's Sea. It has been compared to the Bermuda Triangle. Disappearances, strange phenomena. But again, it is a heavily traveled, storm-prone region. In Lake Michigan, some claim aircraft and ships vanish in a smaller triangle. Storms, navigation errors, cold freshwater depths, pattern repetition. Many dangerous regions exist, but only one became a global brand. The Bermuda Triangle had a catchy name: media amplification, Cold War timing, proximity to the United States. It was marketable, and marketability sustains myth. The triangle is not uniquely dangerous. It is uniquely famous, and fame magnifies fear. In our final volume, we ask the ultimate question: what is the Bermuda Triangle today? For over a century, the Bermuda Triangle has inspired books, movies, debates, speculation. But what is it, truly? There is no confirmed alien base, ancient energy, crystal space-time distortion field, government portal experiment. There are confirmed hurricanes, rogue waves, navigation errors, strong currents, deep ocean trenches. The evidence supports natural explanations. But here's the truth. The Bermuda Triangle is more than geography. It is a story, a modern American legend. And legends endure because they reflect something deeper: our fascination with the unknown. The Atlantic does not speak, it does not explain, it does not defend itself. It simply exists, powerful, vast, unforgiving. When ships sink in deep water, they may never return. That is not supernatural, it is nature. The Bermuda Triangle is not a portal, not a curse, not a gateway to another dimension. It is a convergence of geography, weather, history, human imagination. And while science has illuminated much, the ocean still holds secrets. Not magical ones, but real ones. And perhaps that is enough. Because sometimes the mystery isn't in the water, it's in us.
If you want to hear more about these kind of videos, do subscribe to the channel.